We're here on the red carpet for Pennzoil Presents The Club, which is going to be a tribute to all of the four-time winners of the Indianapolis 500. Unfortunately, one of them is no longer with us, but I'm carrying him with us this evening, Al Unser Sr. But this is apparently the only recorded conversation of these drivers all talking together. So it's really exciting. It's going to premiere, I guess, on NBC right before the Grand Prix, so you should definitely tune in. And let's hear some thoughts of some of the people here.
Oh, it was great. I mean, it's just, I never dreamed of being able to be here at Indy. That was way out of my league. And then to be fortunate enough to win it, period, was incredible. And then to win it more than once was even more incredible. And to get four, and at that time, AJ and Al, they were my heroes, and so I've never felt like I was at their level, but. So to get this opportunity and then to have Helio come in and win a fourth and all four of us be able to get together and Mark and Doug and everybody did a great job. They laid out a great day for us. We had a good time, a lot of fun, and it was just a great opportunity.
And you mentioned how Al Sr. was one of your heroes. Unfortunately, we lost him this winter. Tell me a little bit about your guys' relationship. I know you were teammates and just how that relationship grew as the years went on.
Oh, it was great. We were very close, and he was a great teammate, and we kind of had similar driving styles, and I could anything he did to a car and told me what it did to the car, I could believe it. We could count on each other in that respect, and help each other out. That's what teamwork is. Help raise each other another level to get ahead of the competition. That's what it's all about, and Al was just a great teammate and a great person in general.
And obviously Helio's the new member of the club. You've worked with him extensively over his career. What makes him a four-time champion? What got him there? Desire,
talent, but I've got to tell him that, no more. Four's enough. He's a real people person. And, if he wins a fifth, he's going to be all by himself. So, he doesn't want that. So he's got to take it easy. And it was so great to have him. It was good for the sport. It was good for IndyCar, good for our series, and he's been so close so many times, He could have very easily, won more than four. So for him to finally get that fourth one under his belt, we were all very excited for him.
What's your favorite part of this documentary?
I don't know yet. I haven't seen it.
That's great.
And I didn't know we were doing a documentary at the time either. They just kind of put it all together. So I didn't realize what it was going to be to begin with. But so it's going to be. I'm here to see it for the first time too.
So I haven't seen either. So I remember there talking about it, and the moments that we had, it was it was spectacular. I was mesmerized just to understand the story, and even my respect. Through them, it became even bigger because the time that they did, the way that they did, it was situation life and death, and not only that, I admire, all the competitors, all the talents, and it was very special.
We lost Al Unser Sr. this winter. What was your relationship with him, and how well did you know him before you got to do this documentary?
Well, a lot of people might not know, but he was my the rookie orientation. He was the person that was guiding me through. Him and Johnny Rutherford, which they did an amazing job, and I was asking a lot of questions regarding a race, what it takes to win this race. Back then, we didn't have YouTube or Google or all the technology that we have today, so I had to do my homework in some way, and he was a big help. No question would be. We're gonna be able to see him on the screen, and he's one of the guys that we're gonna miss a lot.
So the Drive for Five, you got a street named after you today. How motivated are you to break the record?
Huge, yeah. That street, tell you what, it's. I just mentioned to everyone that there is no speed limit on that street, so you got to go as fast as you want to go. However, I don't think the speedway like that when I said that, but it's not my problem. But the thing is. What motivates that's not the main reason. This is just the reward when you're achieving something amazing. But in the end of the day, I feel confident, I feel ready, and this amazing 06 guys. Going to do everything we can to repeat what we did last year.
I don't get nervous a lot, but the night before I couldn't really sleep, and then even that day I was pretty nervous about the whole thing, just because growing up, 3 of those guys are my heroes, right? And then getting a chance to watch Helio too and know how good he was. I just really wanted to make sure the synergy worked and everybody communicated, and it was a cool show. So it was pretty amazing when you walk in there that morning, especially as we all kind of walk together to go sit down, and I'm sort of telling people where they're supposed to sit. It was pretty crazy. And AJ Foyt being my childhood hero, right? It was even more amazing.
I've asked everybody tonight about Al Unser Sr. Unfortunately, we lost him in the wintertime. What was your relationship like with him? And for those who will never meet Al Unser Sr., what can you speak to his character?
Well, of all of the 4-time winners, he's probably he and Rick. I have relationships with, but not as much as I have with AJ and Helio, obviously. He's just a quiet, fast. Finished 18 in the 500s he ran. He's led more races in the 500 than anybody. Only 1 pole compared to the other guys who've had multiple poles of our 4-time winners. But he just knew how to get to the end, and he was always happy. He's one of those guys who just always smile until you put a helmet on him, and he was gonna fight like crazy. I had a chance earlier today to talk to Susan Unser, his widow, and I actually sent her a link because she couldn't be here. I sent her a link so she could watch this, because I want not this, but actually watch the club, because I know that she's going to get calls tonight. I wanted to make sure she'd seen it, and really just to thank her, because Al was sick, really sick, and sicker I think than most of us knew. So for him to go out of the way and spend a day and a half with us, he was amazing to work with, and I think it just shows how much he's proud of being a 4-time winner, but how much he was excited to welcome Helio to the club.
And obviously, I know you have the promoter's mind. There has never been a 4-time winner in my lifetime defend or try to go for 5. This is a huge deal. How big is this for the Indianapolis Motor Speedway to have Helio going for 5?
Yeah, it's been since the early 90s, right? When Rick and Al Sr. were trying to do, and AJ really into the early 90s. So it is a big deal to have somebody coming back to try and win a 5th. We haven't been able to talk about it for 25 years. So it's going to, and Helio reminds you every day, it's the drive for 5. So I think it's going to be something people pay a lot of attention to, and I don't know what he'll do if he wins 5. It'd be pretty crazy.
You know, when he won his first 2, I was 8, 9 years old, you know, so,
I didn't know.
But he went out there and he led a lot of laps and that sort of thing, and so, you know, I think it was a little bit harder for him in '78. You know, I was 16 at that time and starting to understand about the 500, and then for sure '87 was a fairy tale. I was in the race, and so yeah, I mean, it was. I can tell you, you know, Lady Luck shined on him, and then he worked at it really hard. So
You have the unique perspective. I think you may be one of the few people alive who has raced against all 4 of the 4-time winners. What were the unique challenges of facing each of them?
Well, they were all tough competitors, you know, and so, you know, Foyt had his strengths, and Rick Mears had his strengths, Helio had his strengths, and my dad was dad, you know, and so it was a lot of fun racing all of them. So,
What's your perspective on a potential 5th win for Helio? Do you want to see it? Do you not want to see it?
of course, I want to see it. Absolutely, you know. Like my dad said, records are made to be broken, so I hope he does it.
They're all 4-time winners. And we're all envious of them, you know, obviously, because we all try to accomplish the same thing, and there's always something to shoot for. And they got 1, they got 2, they got 3, then you go for 4, now Helio's going for 5. So good for him, you know, and I hope he does it.
And I don't want to bring up too much of the Andretti curse stuff, but you know how hard it is to get to that 4-time winners club. How much respect do you have for these guys to be able to do it?
Well, you know, a lot of respect, and some of it is racecraft, some of it is luck, and you need quite a bit of that, you know. So if it was 400 miles, I think I would add a few under my belt. But it is what it is, you know. We all try to do the best, and sometimes, again, you know, they have the right equipment under them. I always thought that I did, you know, and everybody tried their darnest. But for some reason, the reliability factor sometimes play the role.
Unfortunately, we lost Al Unser Sr. this wintertime. what was your relationship like with Big Al, and tell me a little bit about him, maybe as a person.
Well, Big Al, we grew up together. We were the same age, basically, and you know, coming through the ranks, sprint cars, and then the dirt cars. You know, we were teammates throughout a couple of years with the Parnelli group, and but regardless, you know, when you're on the same series together, we spend a lot of time on track, off track, and snowmobiling and whatever. Always competing with one another, cheating, and all that.
So I've never seen you get more animated and excited than when Zach Brown said you could drive the McLaren at COTA. Tell me a little bit about that and where that stands right now.
Well, what it stands is that he confirmed it. You know, he's going to give me a ride in last year's car. You know, this year will be legal. You know, but nevertheless, that's you know, it's a contemporary car. That's what I was hoping for. You know, I expressed myself last July in England at the Goodwood Festival. I sat in the car. I said, "Man, you know, I'd like to have a go at this." He said, "Well, we'll see what happens." You know, and then this came up. So he's a great guy. I love him to death, and giving me that opportunity means a lot, for sure, as you can imagine.
AJ Foyt, you are the first member of the club. Tell me about how special it is to win not only one Indianapolis 500, but 4.
Well, 1 was wonderful, and 4 just made it that much better.
Tell me a little bit about sitting down with all of these. I mean, to me, they're legends of the sport. They're drivers you raced against, Rick Mears, Al Unser Sr., and of course, Helio Castroneves, who you've competed against as a competitor, a driver against yours. What was that process like?
Well, I mean, we've always been good friends and raced against each other, so it's good to see us all still looking down the grass, not up at it.
Now, AJ, the Indianapolis 500 is such an important event, and it's been so long since someone has driven for 5 Indianapolis 500s. What do you think about Helio's chances to achieve that?
Well, I think with the cars nowadays and the motors and all the other, it wouldn't surprise me to see 6 or 7-time winners.
And AJ, have you seen this movie yet, or is this your first time?
This is my first time.
Oh my goodness! So I guess you're going to be as surprised as we all are. Thank you so much, AJ. I appreciate it. Thank you. So we have just seen Pennzoil presents the club, as you can see. Unbelievable! You guys need to tune in for this thing, and not just because they gave me a poster. The chemistry between Al and AJ and Rick Mears and Helio is timeless, and this really is something special, and I'm so glad I got to see this in the theater. Got to talk to AJ Foyt and Helio and Rick Mears and so many other legends of this sport and watch that film with them. And obviously, again, we're thinking of Al Unser Sr. It's such a shame that he's not here with us for this, but he's been immortalized not only by winning the Indianapolis 500, but he's been immortalized in this film. Thank you guys so much for watching. Coverage of the IndyCar GP coming up, and then, of course, it's the 500. We'll see you in the next video.